What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the upcoming 7-star Tera Normal Eevee raid for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This raid is occurring November 17th to the 20th, and it is only one weekend, so make sure that you do this raid at least once. And I'm going to give you the best builds that you should build to defeat this Eevee raid. And of course, guys, like this type of content, enjoy these videos. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam by hitting that join channel member button below. Now, people are going to be saying, oh, it's a 7-star Eevee, this is going to be super easy. Well, they probably have short-term memory because they don't remember what happened with the 7-star Pikachu. It was also a one-weekend event. The Pikachu had a light ball and times 50 HP, and it started with shields in the beginning of the raid, and it had shields throughout the whole entire time. So I assume that is exactly what is going to happen with Eevee this time. It's going to be Tera Normal, so it's only going to be weak to fighting, so that actually gives us less options to work with, but with these builds, we should be okay. So as I mentioned, it's probably going to be times 50 HP, which is a lot of HP for sure, and an item called Eviolite. So Eviolite works on Pokemon that are not fully evolved, and it's technically like an evolution item because for an evolution Pokemon like Eevee, where if you are not fully evolved yet, you are going to get a 50% boost to your defense and your special defense. So Eevee's defense will be actually 75 instead of 50, and I believe his special defense would be like 93 or something like that if I did the math in my head right. So it's still going to be like not the bulkiest, but when you combine like 92, 93 special defense with 75 defense and times 50 HP with shields up, this Eevee is not dying in one hit from anything. This is definitely going to be a battle of persistence, and you're going to have the right Pokemon for it. Now, its ability is irrelevant. Its hidden ability is pretty garbage, so that's actually really good news for us. And looking at its physical stats, it has 55 attack and 45 special attack. So it's definitely going to be more of a physical attacker, but they may, juice up the numbers a little bit just for this raid, just to make it a little bit more challenging from the damage output aspect of this raid. Now, for physical moves, I think it's going to have either Double Edge or Body Slam to be its main move here. Body Slam can paralyze it, so that's why I want to consider it, but it is a TM and it naturally learns Double Edge, so there is a higher chance of Double Edge between the two of them. Last Resort is going to be the signature move of Eevee in this raid for sure. So Last Resort is a move that is 140 damage, but you can only use it after you use all your other moves. So I do think the Eevee's probably only going to have 4 total moves, and once it uses the other 3 moves, then it can start spamming Last Resort against us and do massive amount of Tera boosted stab boosted damage, and that's going to hurt a lot. So we want to be watching out for Last Resort. Now, for coverage moves on the physical side, it doesn't have a lot of options, honestly. It can use Dig, which would beat some Iron Hands users for sure. So it might have something like that, and Trailblaze as well, which would boost its own speed. But Trailblaze is a TM, so I don't know. I believe Dig is also a TM as well. So there's not a lot of options for Eevee to be considered here. I forgot to put on this list, but it also does learn Bite. So maybe it'll have like Bite, Body Slam, Last Resort as its physical moves. Now, for special attacking moves, it really does not have a lot of good options either, and these are pretty much all TMs. Shadow Ball would be, it would be good against any Annihilate users, so maybe we'll have Shadow Ball. Hyper Voice for a really strong special normal move, which would be stronger than Tera Blast, but I don't know if it will actually have that. Definitely leaning more towards Shadow Ball. And it could have Mud Slap, which would be incredibly annoying if it lowered our accuracy. That would be like the big meme of this raid and be the real challenge, is if we can't hit it, then that would make it really hard, right? And it would like waste a timer. So I could see it go down a Mud Slap route. Now, for setup moves, it doesn't have too much, but its scariest setup move to me is probably something like Curse. Because it is a normal type, it's going to boost its physical attack and defense, and it's going to lower its speed by 1. So Curse could be the big thing. Maybe it starts to raid off a couple of curses, so it just gets a lot of additional bulk. Could also have Calm Mind as well, and it could debuff our own stats too. It could have Charm, which will lower our physical attack by 2, or Fake Tears that can lower our special defense by 2. So Eevee doesn't have too many options, but it can be scary. And like I said, if it's times 50 HP with Eviolite, and it has shields up the entire time. This is gonna be a super bulky Pokemon, and if it has memes like Mud Slap, it could definitely be problematic. Now for our builds, and our first one's gonna be Co-Rhydon with the Tera Fighting and the Shell Bell. You could also use Life Orb instead if you would like to go down that route, with the max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature, and the ability Orichalcum Pulse, which will set up the sun but also give an additional boost to Co-Rhydon's attack. Now for our main move, Swords Dance is how we're going to set up here, and Collision Course is our signature fighting type move, which is going to do 100 damage, which is a lot, and it's a super effective hit. So technically this move is going to do 133 because of the additional text for this move, plus stab, plus super effective, all that good stuff. So Collision Course is going to do a lot of damage. Now we have a move called Screech here, which if the shields are up on Eevee on turn 1 already, then we will not be using Screech, as this move does not work through shields. But if it doesn't, then you want to probably use a Screech or two in the beginning and then pop off with a Swords Dance and then a Collision Course to maximize your damage. But if not, that's fine. And then our last move is going to be Drain Punch. Now, if you are a Life Orb variant, you will need to rely on Drain Punch at some point. But if you are not, then you can just use Collision Course with Shell Bell, which is what I'm going to preferably do, and do that. Our next attacker is going to be Iron Hands, and I recommend the item Metronome with Tera Fighting, max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. And pretty much how Iron Hands is going to play in this raid is you're going to turn 1 Belly Drum, and then you're going to turn 2 spam Drain Punch forever and ever and ever, getting the Metronome stacked, and this might be a good solo option. Now, there's of course some things that could defeat this. If the Eevee has something like Charm to lower our physical attack, that can definitely hurt us a lot. And if it uses like Mud Slap to lower our accuracy and we miss, then Metronome stacks will be reset whenever we miss. So that would definitely be unfortunate, and of course would be super effective against us. But Iron Hands does a lot of damage. So if it doesn't have any sort of weird memes like that, then we should be fine with the Belly Drum into Drain Punch. We also have Close Combat here just to do additional bonus damage. It will lower our stats, but this is more like a finishing move just to get through the shields a little bit quicker. You know, if we're really close to getting through the shields, or you know, you just feel like, oh, well, if I did one more Drain Punch, I won't break it, but if I did a Close Combat, I would break it, then I would recommend going for the Close Combat. And then the last move I recommend is going to be Electric Terrain. This will set off your own Quirk Drive, so maybe do this on turn 1 as well instead of a Belly Drum. If you're confident taking 2 hits, that's going to be up to you. But if you are raiding in a lobby of 4 Iron Hands, then one of them going for Electric Terrain is definitely going to be really helpful, and also prevents the Eevee from potentially putting anyone to sleep with the move Yawn. So I do recommend it. I think Iron Hands is going to be very good in this raid, but it may not be the best option. I think Co-Rhydon will be a better option, but if you don't have Co-Rhydon, then Iron Hands is going to be a great choice too. Now, if you have access to Galarian Zapdos, I do highly recommend this with the Shell Bell and the Tera Fighting, with the max HP, max attack. So his ability is Defiant, which I really do like, because if the Eevee has a way of actually lowering our stats, Defiant will make it so that our stats will go back up. At least our physical attack will go up by 2. So if it uses Charm against us to lower our attack by 2, it's like we never got our stats lowered. If it uses Mud Slap to lower our accuracy, then our attack will go up by 2. So there's a lot of fun stuff there, or like Fake Tears or our special defense, and then our physical attack goes by 2 as well. So this is a great Pokemon that can counter a lot of the memes from Eevee, which I really like. And the other reason why I like this is we have the move Thunderous Kick, which is our signature move. It's going to be stab super effective, and it will always lower the target's defense. So even if the shield is up or whatever, Thunderous Kick right through that shield, and bam, -1 defense, and your next Thunderous Kick will do more damage because you're at -1. So you don't even need a setup, and you could potentially run Zapdos with a Metronome build because of this, because we're really only going to be spamming this. But I do like Shell Bell for that additional HP sustain, so you don't have to worry about healing, and this could be a phenomenal solo build too. We have Bulk Up as well if you want to raise your stats in the beginning. It may be more optimal to do 1 Bulk Up then Thunderous Kick. And we also have Focus Energy, so you want to pop off with a Focus Energy, then go for Thunderous Kick. You could get a lot of crits off because Focus Energy gives you +2, so you have a 50% chance of getting a crit until it removes your stat buffs, which can be really great too. So I think Galarian Zapdos is going to be a phenomenal raid Pokemon as well, and I think this is going to be the go-to for the solos. Now, if you don't have Galarian Zapdos, another really good Pokemon is going to be Hisuian Decidueye. And we're going to be running Tera Fighting with the item Shell Bell, with the max HP, max attack, and your ability doesn't really matter too much in this raid, so you can have whatever you want. And the main reason why I like this Pokemon a lot is because we have the move triple arrows. Now this is our signature move as well, and it does 90 damage, and this move one has a heightened chance of landing a critical hit. So this has a 12% chance of getting a crit, which is really nice. It can also lower the target's defense, so it has a 50% chance of lowering the target's defense. So not as good as Galarian Zapdos, but you do have a higher crit chance, so you are playing with that. And you can make it flinch. Unfortunately, flinches does not work in Tera raids, but still, high crit and 50% chance of lowering the defense is phenomenal, and it does 90 damage, stab super effective. This is going to be really good. Of course, Swords Dance to raise our own stats up, and then Close Combat is going to be like our big pop-off move, and you could potentially use Taunt, but of course, if the shields are already up on turn 1, then Taunt can't do anything for you, so you just got to forget about that. And I will actually mention Annihilate for a second here. And now the thing about Annihilate is, one, Eevee is immune to Rage Fist. And yes, this should be Tera fighting. I did not change mine yet. And I do recommend the item Shell Bell. But because we are a ghost type, we are going to be immune to all of the normal type moves that the Eevee is going to have. So be immune to like Double Edge, Body Slam, Last Resort, which is going to be really helpful. And if it does have moves like Mud Slap, Fake Tears, and Charm, we do have the ability to Defiant, which will rise our physical attack even higher. So that's going to be really helpful too. So yeah, we can't use Rage Fist, but we are still a really good physical attacker, and it's going to be stab, super effective fighting type moves with that max HP, max attack, adamant nature. And we can pretty much use like Drain Punch and Close Combat, Focus Energy to increase our crits. If there are no shields, then you could use Screech on turn 1, but if there are shields, then I would recommend changing Screech to Bulk Up to further boost our physical attack. And then our last attacker is actually going to be our only special attacker in the show off here, which is going to be Arceus with that Tera fighting and a Fist Plate, because you have to have Fist Plate to change the fighting type. And max HP, max special attack. And this is our simple go-to Arceus set. It's going to be Calm Mind to boost our special attack and special defense. Judgment is going to be a stab, super effective, Fist Plate boosted fighting type move, which is going to be great. We have Acid Spray to go through shields and lower that special defense, and then Recover to get that HP back. So Arceus is once again be another phenomenal choice for this raid. And now for supporters, and I'm going to say there's a lot of phenomenal supporters. I'm just going to mention a few. Use the one you're most comfortable with, because that's usually what's the best at the end of the day, especially with a raid like this. But I'm going to go with Mew with Shell Bell. You can also use Covert Cloak as another great item here as well. With max HP, max defense, and a bold nature. Mud Slap to lower accuracy, works through shields. Chilling Water to lower physical attack, works through shields. Acid Spray to lower that special defense, so that's really great if you have any special attackers on your side, which also works through shields. And then Misty Terrain to prevent any sort of status conditions to occur. So this will prevent Body Slam Paralyze. This will prevent Sleep from Yawn. So a really good supporter build. You can also put like screens on here as well. Mew gets all the TM, so a lot of great options in general. Next up are the Muck Boys, and I really like the Mucks, and I'm going to have Wide Lens on this Muck, the Alolan one, with max HP. You can run max defense or special defense, up to you. Doesn't really matter too much, but I would say max defense over special defense if you had to remake it. And I like it because it has Acid Spray, goes through 3 shields, Snarl, which will go through shields and lower that special attack. You also have Helping Hand and Screech, but if there are shields, then unfortunately Screech will not work on turn 1. But, you know, we do have another option. If you don't like this Muck, you can use another Muck, the regular Muck, which I actually think is a little bit better in this raid. And once again, I'm going to run Wide Lens with max HP, max defense, bold nature. We're going to have Mud Slap to lower that accuracy, Acid Spray to lower that special defense, Lunge, which will lower the physical attack and go through shields as well. So this is like bug type Chilling Water, but it does more damage, which is pretty nice. And once again, we have Screech. You can always replace Screech with Helping Hand on this Muck as well, if you want to have something more viable and help out your partners too. Another Pokemon I really love is Hisuian Goodra. You know, you are a Steel type, so you resist the normal type moves, which is great. You can have Shell Bell here, up to you. You know, you can run max HP with max defense, or mine's just max special attack. I have Shell Armor, so I can't get crit, which is pretty nice. Acid Spray, lower that special defense. Chilling Water to lower that physical attack through shields. Life Dew to heal everyone, and then just have a 4th move here. And my last one I recommend is going to be Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl put up screen, so you have Light Screen. You can have Reflect with Light Clay, which is always great. Max HP, max defense, or special defense, up to you. Thunder Wave is excellent support. Spirit Break goes through shields, lowers special attack. Fake Tears lowers special defense. Of course, if shields are already up, then this won't work. But pick the supporter that you like the most. Well, there we have it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. I think this raid is going to be absolutely easy, but it's still going to be a challenging one. We're going to do this live on stream this Thursday, so definitely be there. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.